And this one's not so funny. Off we go to Russia and new worries about the world's worst nuclear nightmare. More than 25 years after the meltdown at the Chernobyl nuclear plant, and workers in the former Soviet Republic of Ukraine are finally beginning to build a giant cap over the facility's still dangerous reactor. Trace Gallagher has that story live from L.A. Trace?
You know, Megan, after the Chernobyl disaster, the first reaction was to try and cap the radiation, right, to kind of contain it. And so what they did is they built this sarcophagus, this concrete unit around Reactor 4. At the time, they called it the 10,000-year tomb. Well, it turns out the shelf life of that was only about 30 years, which is up in 4 years. So now they're in the process of building a new structure that looks kind of like a giant Quonset hut or an arch, 840 feet long, 500 feet wide, and about as tall as the Statue of Liberty. The plan is to kind of slide this thing using railroad tracks over reactor number 4 and then begin to dismantle the reactor. Now, one of the big concerns you have is they've got that big smokestack or chimney on reactor number 4. They got to tear that thing down, and with that, you've got all kinds of radioactive material. The problem is, even when this dome is put over the reactor, it only contains radioactive material. It doesn't actually contain the radioactive waste, or the radiation, if you will, that comes out of it. To this day, the town around there is evacuated. 115,000 people mandatory evacuated. Remember, 28 people died, but 6,000, mostly children at the time, ended up developing thyroid cancer, and many have died. Engineers say maybe in 100 years, Megan, 100 years, they can turn this whole area into a tourist attraction because they believe it will finally be clean enough to approach. 18 miles around it, you still can't get near it.
Wow. Even that seems optimistic. Trace, thanks.